Thank you, Johnny, for the warm introduction. My favorite section of the desk right now, or portion, segment, whatever you want to call it, is Scott just attempting to steer Clara away of thinking the Washington Justice is good and paint them in a good light. Like, that's the craziest thing in the world. Maybe not the hardest thing today since they are playing the San Francisco Shock, but it's always fun watching Scott kind of squirm in his seat and try not to say anything good about the team. Of course, they are playing the Shock. It's going to be an upwards hill battle, but you know what, Johnny? I'm actually on your side. I kind of want them to win. Like, they do look good at the start of stages, Rose.
They do. They really do. And the fact that we've seen Washington Justice and San Francisco Shock play before, they did match up against each other in the kickoff clash. And if, you know, memory serves, Jaws, that was a 5-map series. Like, I said that right. It's a 5-map series. Obviously, San Francisco Shock did end up winning 3-2, but it was still 5 maps.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we're only on day 2, and we've already had a reverse sweep, like a game 5 we didn't expect to happen, and we just had that game where a lot of people thought Atlanta Reign would come out of the gate swinging, and then Boston Uprising take the cake, 3-1 in the series. Like, anything can happen today. Anything can happen. Like, look, it's a brand new meta, brand new hero, brand new Washington Justice, maybe. They still have to go up against the Shock. I mean, they're still crazy good individually, like Johnny was also saying on the desk. And the Washington Justice, look, they got Mag, Vigilante Opener, Happy, and Decay in their starting lineup. Custer said as well he wanted consistency from the team, and their schedule doesn't look crazy bad coming out of today. This is definitely their toughest opposition, like it would be for most teams, but the schedule's not looking too bad at all, and they could be in a fairly good, they could have a fairly good win streak going into the Toronto LAN. We'll have to wait and see.
I think so. And, you know, I think a lot of that today is going to be how we see Mag lead the team. You know, he does tend to play a bit more reactively, and in a meta where you are playing a bit more of a rush style, you are wanting that main tank player to actually go in and get a little bit more aggressive and be a bit more proactive. And so I think that we might need to see a bit of a play style shift coming in from Mag, but you have so many great pieces here. Obviously, Decay and Happy, they have such a fantastic ability to have these pop-off moments, but it does come down to just consistency overall, and Washington Justice is a team that lacks that.
It has been lacking that in the past, but they do have such good DPS for this meta. Like, Happy and Decay's hero pool is covered very, very well in what we've been seeing so far. I don't think there'll be a team that'll shift up the meta. I think it will be kind of the Genji and the Sojourn / Ashe. We'll have to wait and see, but it is the team that they're facing. The undefeated in the regular season, San Francisco Shock. They're 12-0, looking at 13-0 after this match if they do end up taking the dub. Unstoppable squad.
And they looked even better during the Mid-Season Madness tournament as well. They got that second place, only losing to the Los Angeles Gladiators. And they are also a team that have exceptional pieces when it comes down to what that Junker Queen meta composition actually looks like. Like, Jaws, I am so excited to see what Kilo and Proper end up doing with their respective hero picks, because if they do end up running the Junker Queen, I think we're going to see a really nice battle between, of course, Decay Happy and Kilo and Proper.
Oh.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna, yeah, in the DPS slot for sure. It's gonna be kind of crazy. And I was thinking about this going into the series where we see Kaluj and kind of Mikey chop and change around. Makes the most sense for Kaluj to be on the Junker Queen. He's had the most playtime on the Shock because Mikey was picked up fairly late into the, well, I guess not late into the season, but later than Kaluj, of course, who was their only starting tank for the beginning of the season. We are going on to Nepal as our first map, another new map in the map pool, or old map in the map pool, I should say. But yeah, Kaluj is always someone you've got to look at. Kaluj and Mag's going to be a fairly interesting matchup too, because Kaluj, his ability to flex on so many heroes, because he was the only tank on the Shock at the beginning of the season, is kind of insane. And the aggressive playstyle of Proper and Kilo are just going to match that. I mean, Violet's Lucio, we've mentioned a few times, but it was a bit funny in the past. It wasn't the best Lucio we've ever seen, but it is really, really shored up over the course of this season. Even last year, to be fair as well. It just took him a little bit of time to get in that Lucio mindset, but him and Finn as the backline, just super solid. The Shock, yet again, funnily enough, very scary team in the regular season.
Yeah, I love that you bring up the synergy that Finn and Violet have as a very established backline duo, and I do feel like I have some reservations about just how Vigilante and Opener are going to end up interacting as a backline, just because it's, you know, it's been Krillin mostly that has been in that support lineup, and so I think that maybe we will have to see some growth there from that backline to make sure that they can keep up pace with what this Junker Queen composition requires.
Bit of a quicker entrance to the midpoint of the map for the Justice. Opener tried to boot Kalush out of the small door, but a couple of speed ups, of course, on each side, and the Lucio and the Junker Queen's commanding shout, so a bit more difficult to do that. Nice axe swing from Mag. Yes, it does heal people, or heal yourself. Thank you very much for pointing out that Dante. If you haven't seen the Dante tweet, pretty funny. Maybe that's why Houston lost yesterday. Not entirely sure. Violet ends up going down to Vigilante as the San Francisco Shock are forced all the way back. The point does unlock, and in fact, Vigilante finding a double kill. Good start for the Justice.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Mag is definitely playing more aggressively here, and the way that the Washington Justice were able to shut down that choke was super impressive. Now San Francisco Shock do have to play with their backs up against the wall a little bit. It's very difficult to try to ingress onto the point when you know that you really only have two ways to do so, and Washington Justice are right there and waiting.
Well, that's a lot of deflect damage from Proper. They get stuck back in with the knife from Mag. Justice are in a very good spot. They got Rally coming up. They got the beats. Both support ultimates going to be hard to chew through because the San Francisco Shock Proper already in the backline, almost getting the one shot onto Happy. But there is the Rally. The Justice trying to go for a little bit of a spawn camp, and now with Violet dead, Shock have nowhere to run except for their spawn doors. Finn also ends up going down as the Justice only expend one ult in that fight, and they push Shock all the way back.
Oh, such value for the Washington Justice there. That rally was just insurmountable. Now San Francisco Shock, they can come in with a rally of their own, but Opener still held on to the sound barrier.
Well, you called it perfectly. They used the rally to get out of the doors that overheld the building up in time, but Decay's now going to try and slice through it. Not so much, not so quickly though, because San Francisco Shock respond with a beat. No one's going to die, not for at least a couple of seconds. The overhealth does end up wearing off, and that's time for Proper to pull the blade. He gets one reset off of Mag, and another one off of Vigilante. Looking for the Lucio, picks off Opener, and the San Francisco Shock end up finding almost a team wipe, and they end up capping the point.
What a fantastic timed ultimate coming in from Proper as well. Just waiting for the sound barrier to expire, and the fact that San Francisco Shock could hold on and sustain through the Dragon Blade from Decay made it way easier for Proper to go in, get behind the Washington Justice, and completely shut them down. Now San Francisco Shock gotta work up to the 72%.
Ooh, double rampage. Kalush is antied, Mag and Opener antied on the side of the Justice. Opener goes super low, so does Mag. That bleed effect doing so much damage. Of course, it heals you too if you're the Junker Queen through the Adrenaline Rush passive, so you're pretty immortal. But when you're antied, yeah, not quite so lucky. So if both Junker Queens end up hitting each other, they don't get any benefit from that Adrenaline Rush. Shock end up coming out on top, and they continue to hold. But Justice in a fairly decent spot again. Got Rally way before Finn has.
Yeah, the fact that Vigilante has been able to build that up so quickly means that it does put Washington Justice a bit into the driver's seat when it comes to playing a more aggressive game. You can go in and engage with the rally, and that forces San Francisco Shock to have to play more defensively, which is a style that we haven't seen too much from them as a more aggressive type team.
And the Justice, they know they can go in. Rally's online for Vigilante, instantly pops it. Finn actually is already dead. Killer gets a nice snipe onto Vigilante, stopping that rally from going through, but I think the damage is really done. Kalush, Finn dying, you get so much less healing and sustain in the front line. Now the Justice just need to go for the cap. This might be the last fight here for the Shock to come back.
I think it's going to be. This is definitely one fight territory, and you know, Washington Justice, they are building up to those DPS ults so fast.
That was a very early commanding shout from Mag. He's going to have to back all the way up as you see the San Francisco Shock barreling towards them. Finn's now got that rally online, and already you can see the Shock are actually pressuring the point. They're always going to get the cap, and in fact, looks like Justice is going to let that happen. There comes the rally from Finn. Now Justice trying to find an isolation kill. Overclock has been popped as the Justice lose Vigilante, forcing Opener to use that beat to keep them in this fight. Kilo now in a 1v1 versus Happy. Overclock versus not much else, but Decay finds both Violet and Finn with the blade, and the San Francisco Shock, yes, they cap the point, but the Justice are going to find the reflip.
Yeah, they do have a little bit of time. San Francisco Shock should be able to get back to the point to get the recontest, but they gotta go quickly and hope they don't get booped away.
99% the dash! Oh, proper dashes, but it hits the wall. Didn't quite get the dash onto the point to trigger overtime. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Yeah, it wasn't angled, I guess, directly towards the point. That was unfortunate, a bit of a dead dash.
I mean, we heard Lemon Kiwi and Leg Day talk about this as well, right? There's so many crowd control effects. Not only are you fighting against the architecture of the map, but also the fact that you have the flail coming in from the Brigitte, the boop from the Lucio, and it's just definitely difficult sometimes, I think, for teams to get that timing just right. So a little unfortunate there for the Shock, but the Washington Justice did look like they had firm control over the situation. So let's see what happens on Shrine, as we are going to see both teams continue with the same compositions as we saw before, but San Francisco Shock do get a bit of a leg up in terms of getting to the point because of that symmetric teleporter.
Kilo is fairly far behind though. Symmetric teleport is good, but you need your main damage source in that Sojourn to be at the point at the same time. Wow, Mag just got run over. I thought Finn might be in a little bit of trouble. They do end up trading, and actually Proper is in the back with the help of Violet, was sped all the way there. Happy used the dash to try and get away, but Proper finished that up with a nice little reset. Wow, Proper and Violet, tag team duo taking care of the Justice.
This is such a good position for the Shock to be in as well, because now the onus is on them to really set the pace, and that's something that they are so good at. When we look as well at Finn just continuing to work up to that rally, and also how much damage Proper did in that first fight. Jaws, he's already 60% plus towards that Dragon Blade.
I guess the Justice can be thankful. Blades have been crazy good. They can get negated quite easily, but it is Proper, and yeah, he's pretty good at the game. He's going pretty low. A little cookie, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. Happy does right-click Kilo to start off the fight while he gets chased down. No wonder Proper wasn't getting healing. The front line of the Shock were just getting bullied. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much ult charge you got, Proper. Unfortunately, it's no ult. Oh, Happy hits him with a bag. Nice, and a stern lock in his face. Love to see it. Justice end up getting the cap there.
It's so funny when these players like just so deadpan are trying to
deadpan here in the bag. It don't matter.
Yeah, that's just another day at the office here. But now we're looking at the Justice just continuing with these more reactive ultimates as well in the support lineup. The rally, the sound barrier. You see that there's the Dragon Blade online for the Shock.
Really early rally from Finn. Kilo goes down first yet again. Not good for the Shock. We'll see if they want to continue this fight. Like you said, they do have that blade, but it looks rather unwinnable. With Kilo dead, you don't have a crazy amount of damage. You're already looking for your Sojourn to open up some of these fights. So yeah, Shock, wisely enough, they decide to go once more. They've got a bit of time to play with here, of course. If they end up stalling out these fights, it's just way worse for you. You gave so much free ult charge away to the Justice.
Yeah, at least you have the Lucio, right? So that does get you back into these fights way faster. So we've already seen so many skirmishes on this point alone, with these points going back and forth as well.
There's the beat there to counteract the blade. Yeah, Proper's just getting hounded down here. Happy using that overclock and dashing straight towards it. Proper still pretty low, but spots Happy at quite low HP without a little heals left. He gets a pack just in time. Bit of AoE heal for the Lucio, but it's not enough to save his life. Decay jumps to the back with a blade of his own, takes care of Finn, but the rest of the Justice are really nowhere to be seen. Violet once again. He's either taxiing Proper around or he's taxiing Kaluge to try and pick off people in the back. As soon as they had that blade go off from Decay, they're like, well, the backline's a little bit more vulnerable. There's very little peel left.
Yeah, that is a good strategy for the Shock, but I do feel like sometimes it leaves them a bit vulnerable when you know that they're playing a bit split up as a team. Washington Justice have definitely identified that they're doing that and have just decided, okay, well, if one half of the team is somewhere else, then we're just going to rush down the other half of the team that's in front of us.
All right, both Jungle Queens having the rampage. There's one. Oh, that was a meaty rampage. Hit 4 people from the Justice, and Kilo can sit up here and just play as a turret. And Overclock doing the rest of the work.
Well, that rampage is just so exciting to see hit so many targets as well, because, you know, you do deal damage over time and you also prevent them from getting healed. So that just really makes it that much more snowbally when that ultimate is effective. We saw Kaluj get the value. Let's see if Mag can do the same as we enter into the final percent here for the Shock.
A couple more. No one's C9 this time. Nope, they're good. Mag trying to line up for an ult of his own. He does find two. Proper and Kaluj receive that commanding shout over health, but is it enough? Kilo's taking care of Decay and they actually trade Genji, so a solid 4-on-4, pretty even fight so far. And it's actually the Shock who let go at that point. The rally comes out from Violet to try and end it right here, right now, as Happy is chased down. Ends up sliding away, but Kilo is still hunting for him. Hits the wall with a slide, but Finn's going to do the heavy lifting in this fight. He ends up killing off Happy in the end, and Shock find the flip as OT ticks down. It's only Opener to touch. I tell a lie, it's actually Decay too. He might be able to juggle enough time for Vigilante to come back and maybe earn a rally, but it's going to be an upwards hill battle. And in fact, Mag's coming back on the ball to try and stall for even more time. It's up to Vigilante to get this rally online. Mag's doing a fair bit of damage and disruption on the point to push the Shock away. The rally from Vigilante comes out just in time, as the Justice don't want to let this match go over to the Shock. A rally is good for the time being, but Proper's still got the blade. He is pretty low and receives a cookie, but pulls the blade, and now he's only 50 HP. The Justice responding kind with a beat, but Vigilante just gets focused down by Kilo. Proper's blade didn't do too much damage, but it won't matter. The San Francisco Shock are just so good at this target focus, and now it is only Mag to try and stall out for more time, and it's not going to work out. The San Francisco Shock, with perfect target priority, stop both support ultimates from the Justice from getting anything.
That was excellent, and you know, you heard it from Punk. This is absolutely a meta where that target focus is so important. You can have those hero moments, but when you need to be able to combine all of this different damage output, whether it's kind of getting the dash resets on the Genji or trying to get those isolated picks with the Sojourn and just peppering that on top of what the Junker Queen provides, it's everything that has to work together. And so yeah, you need all units focusing down one person. It looked really good there for the Justice for, you know, a hot second. I think Mag's Wrecking Ball did open up a window of opportunity for the Justice, but San Francisco Shock absolutely diffed that in those final moments when it counted. So let's head over to our third stage, Village.
Again, really nice target priority there in Vigilante. Justice is going to have to end this fight fairly quickly. They've removed the main damage dealer of the San Francisco Shock, but it's now, again, it comes down to that target prior, like you were saying, and there it is. That's what you want to see. It's so tough when you lose your break there. You lose a lot of the AoE healing from Inspire, you lose the Boop, you lose the packs for your Genji. Like, so much healing is just faded away, and the Justice, they come out on top this time around, end up finding the first cap.
That Inspire healing is really so important as well, especially when you're trying to play as this big group. You know, sometimes San Francisco Shock does split up a little bit, but Washington Justice, they're playing as a big ball.
Oh, wow, it's okay. I think he went through about 4 people with that dash. Ends up dying though, and good headshot from Kilo. His aim still surprises me, day in, day out. San Francisco Shock, and what was quite a quick team fight, annihilate the Justice.
Was great, and that was with such a quick cap as well. You know, San Francisco Shock, they don't give up too much percentage to the Washington Justice, and they also are basically like full on like they're getting close to some ultimates here. Like the rally from Finn, look at how fast that has been built up. Vigilante is at 47% right now.
God, he actually just triple packed Proper there to keep him alive. Wow. What more pocket could you really ask for? Maybe an orb as well, I suppose, if you want the ultra pocket. But yeah, every little bit of resource there into Proper to keep him alive. Another quick team fight for the Shock.
Yeah, and then they still have the rally now. They're going to have the blade, and there really isn't a good response to that call there coming out from the Justice. That rally or that sound barrier are not online just yet, and so you really are looking for the Justice to use the DPS ultimates that they've accumulated to hopefully take back and control of this point. But San Francisco Shock utilizing this high ground is making it very difficult for the Justice to find an opening.
Oh, blade for Proper. Maybe the Justice are expecting it, but yeah, that's real rough. The Shock end up actually using the rally too in that engagement. I won't feel too bad about it though. They still got 3 ults coming up. Yeah, the Justice not really had a foothold apart from that first neutral fight, but you know, they got a rally, they got a beat coming up, and they've, well, in fact, all 5 ults basically.
Yeah, as long as they don't use everything at this moment to be able to take back control, I think they're in a good spot, but I'd love to see Mag use this Rampage.
That was almost a disgusting knife, actually. Pulled Violet in. If he got hit with a headshot from Happy, I think I would have screamed. All right, the Justice put themselves on the point. Mag's going pretty low. Commanding Shout mixed with the Rally. That's a lot of health to chew through. Rampage comes out, hits 4, but Violet's beat is going to see them through at least a little bit of that damage. Another return beat from the Justice. They get hit with a Rampage from Kaluge. And now Decay, he's just going hunting. Finn dead, Kaluge down, and the Justice end up finding the cap mid-fight. The Shock pretty happy with that, though. They did force the Justice to use a whole fledge of their ultimate, and they get 97% on the board.
Yeah, it was literally everything that they had built up. I mean, now we're just having a clean slate here for both of these teams where they're not going to have anything coming up for this next fight. So it's just a raw brawl here to be able to keep control or take back the control. San Francisco, though, yeah, they're pretty happy with 97% here.
All right, double command and shout on the point. The Shock. Justice can't get flipped here. It would be disastrous if they let this one go. They're going to have to juggle it somehow. They're not going to be able to do that. Not enough health, maybe. Target priority right now is that Sojourn. Happy is in a whole heap of hurt. Got triple packed. AoE boosted healing from Opener to try and keep him alive, but it's not actually enough. The Justice end up recapping in the fight again. They just play roundabouts with the San Francisco Shock. Both their DPS are dead. Proper can't use that blade now. He's in the grave. And the Justice, I said, look, don't lose the point. They did, but then they instantly reflip, so it feels pretty good. And now some late stagger kills on the San Francisco Shock as they are nearing the 90% mark.
That reflip there from the Washington Justice was really smart as well. They correctly identified that Shock, you know, we're going to have to be able to use some cooldowns in order to actually take back control. And then Justice just waited until they had their own.
What an early fight.
Ooh.
This is so sick from the Justice. They're just going to run him down. Finn ends up popping the Rally and goes down. So the Shock now only have that blade to work with, and Prop is actually just on the point. He had to go for that touch, otherwise the Justice would have just run right here. The beat from Opener. Everybody's got all that overhealth, and now a blade from Decay. Goodbye, Violet. Goodbye, Kilo. The Justice end up finding the flip, and the San Francisco Shock are going to go down in map number 1. The Washington Justice, hey, they're off to a flying start. Rose, look, we spoke about it at the top of the show. The DPS for the Justice, it's almost perfect for this meta. Genji player and a perfect hit scan / Sojourn player. It is looking so clean right now.
I mean, it's just also the fact that the Washington Justice are playing so hyper-coordinated as a team. Like, they're just sticking to the books of just playing together. And I think that's so smart for them because it just means that they can go after one target after another. And you can see how quickly sometimes they're able to just take out targets.
Yeah, this is definitely a close control map. And yeah, target priority is key. Shock had very good target priority. Justice just pipping him to the post there. We'll have to jump to a quick break. So we've got map number 2 loading up soon. All right, I had to check on something in the break. I needed to see if Sen had prepped a tweet about shock on control, and they did, so that's perfect. Thank you very much, and yeah, it is shock on control. So what can you take away from that? Well, maybe a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, the Jest is still up 1 map over the shock currently. Again, Happy still doing really well, but a big point of that last map, Rose, that we talked about was the target focus.
That was definitely a huge factor for the Washington Justice, and you could see that San Francisco was still going for some kind of hero moments, right? Maybe kind of sending, of course, Kilo on the Proper on the Genji, maybe on a flank to try to get behind the enemy team, and it worked out sometimes, and you know, it was just an inconsistent strategy. So I really would like to see San Francisco Shock just kind of stick to a ball, like ball up, like group up, have a Kiki, I don't know, just like stick together, and that might be a way to also kind of get back into this series. But I think you make a good point too, Jaws, that it was control, and so let's hold off our reservations until we see what this second map has in store for us.
Yeah, it is going to be Hollywood. We jump on to next. Washington on the defense. Not going to be anything crazy. Although we did see a little bit of a variation with the Zenyatta and the Ana on the defense instead, but doesn't look like we're going that route. We are just going the classic Junker Queen comp. I kind of like the Zen and the Ana. On the
I do.
I will say. Even on second, because you can hold that high ground, you can hold super far away, which is ideally where the Ana and the Zen wants to sit. I guess... Let me think. I on second, maybe not, because you can get on top of people pretty quickly, and there's a lot of corners you can play out of the LOS, the Ana, and the Zen. But on this first point, when you are just trying to get onto the capture point itself, the Zen and the Ana holding down the bunker and the cafe is pretty nice.
It is.
I guess it kind of depends on what supports you kind of have in, what names you got in the lineup. But all right, is anyone going to die to start off? No. Big deflect, nothing.
I mean, I think I agree with you completely, but I think that the Zen and the Ana right now, they're just a little squishy for what this meta is operating on. If you get targeted down by this composition, yeah, I don't know how the Zenyatta would feel about that one.
Man, Killer got his head split too there. Jesus, he threw the dynamite and yeah, unfortunately, well, they're going to chase. Proper, dead. Chase one more time. I mean, might as well. You have commanding shout in like 1 second. Okay, bring around the Rosie. Kalush gets to the spawn challenge. Nope, nope. Denied all the way back. There's the axe all the way to the spawn doors. You go. Not complaining.
What a different look from the Washington Justice that we've seen so far. This is a ton of confidence for them, and I love this look. I mean...
You know what this feels like, actually? It feels like day one Overwatch where no one really knew where to hold, so you just hold near the spawn around some sort of cover. That's what it feels like right now. All right, DPS, they do trade. Kilo dead is not great. That Dynamo does a lot of work to these comps. So Proper just doing proper things. Give him a 5K? Nope, not today.
Well, you know, at least some of the members of the Washington Justice did back up, and so you do have Opener that just respawned, and because they held so close to San Francisco's Shock spawn, Washington Justice should be able to get back in here for a recontest.
Good touch from Decay. There's the blade, there's the rally from the Shock. Can they survive? The Justice have popped a rally of their own, but Vigilante forced away from the rest of his team. Opener's got a beat. Does he commit? Doesn't feel like it's necessary right now. The San Francisco Shock aren't really expecting it, though. Violet was 8% away. He might not even needed it, to be honest with you, but the Justice just sent it in. Guarantee that fight. The San Francisco Shock held their spawn, but now they have 2 ticks on point A. Not the worst, but the time bank slowly trickling down.
I think Washington Justice felt confident to use the sound barrier because of the fact that they have the Rampage and they also have the Dragon Blade online. And if they're going to play this more aggressive style, you're really just like, it's either going to work or it's not. And so you are banking on that Dragon Blade to make some good headway here, especially when you know that Rampage is going to make sure that no one can get healed.
Oh, 5-man anti from the Rampage from Mag. However, Violet's going to counteract it with a beat. The blade from Decay, he's 10 HP. Finn hits him with a bash. The Bob doing a lot of work too, mind you, stopping the Justice from just dogpiling onto somebody. And the San Francisco Shock end up capping the point. Was quite tough, I will say. The Justice had a fairly decent hold. Really, it came down to the support ultimates in the end. Violet had his beat from the last engagement. Opener used his to stop that additional 33%. So just a small little snowball there for the Shock.
Well, the reactive Bob as well from Kilo, I mean, that just really did get that territorial control that Shock was looking for. I mean, you called it out perfectly. It's basically a turret that's going to protect the rest of your members from going down and just getting dove upon. But Justice, they're back up and they're hungry to stop the cart here.
Yeah, I'm looking where Kalusia's kind of set up. Problem is with a Rampage here, you have to wait for everybody to get down to the low ground. He does swing through, hits Vigilante. Can the Brick survive? Maybe ticking down. Opener needs to help Vigilante. He needs to get Inspire or something to keep alive, but want to be.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about this as well, when you're just going to chase down the Washington Justice is you're buying so much time, and I love that Kalush is just doing such a good job of getting aggressive, and like this is something that the Shock are very good at, playing on the attack and going with the momentum that they generate in these first few points on Escort and also Hybrid. So creating space for Kilo on the Ashe to just continue to get that consistent damage, super, super big here for the Shock to get the second point as well.
Abby's going to play a little bit scared. Already used that dash to get away from Popper. There's the blade, there's a million boops, but you've got to connect them first. Vigilante once again gets isolated on the side by Proper and Kaluge. The rally for Finn to secure the fight. The Justice have lost both their support. All the store game now. I can't imagine. Decay comes back from this one. He has a couple of HP. Proper gets the resets. And Mag gets tack knifed. And there's point 2 unlocked. 3 minutes to go for the San Francisco Shock. That was again, really good target focus from the San Francisco Shock. Vigilante caught unawares.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that they made up quite a bit of lost time there as well. That the Justice were able to stall off of that first point. And so having 3 minutes to be able to capture this third and final point of Hollywood definitely feels really good. But the high ground approach from the Justice.
Someone's in the back line. Is that Kilo? All the way at the back. Nice target focus from Happy. Kalush is super low. The rest of the Justice are trying to focus him down. They do just that. The San Francisco Shock they get split up completely. I think Kilo is on the mega health pack all the way at the back. Finn does take care of Happy, but it shouldn't matter. You still have a decent front line with Kalush up. So with Mag up even, not Kalush. Kalush was dead.
Yeah, Mag has been doing a great job of just kind of making sure that everybody's staying together. You can definitely see that Washington Justice are all on the same page for the most part. But yeah, let's open it up.
No nice Rampage. Perfectly timed beat from Violet. And Vigilante caught out again. That's the third team fight in a row. He's unfortunately went down first. Blade from Decay. He's hunting for somebody, but Kilo's waiting for him around the corner. Good little ping there on Decay as Violet was chasing him. And the San Francisco Shock now marching on forward. Rampage in about, what, 10%? The Justice not really near anything. The closest ult they have is a beat at 70.
Yeah, and that might not come online in time for this Rampage Dragon Blade combo that San Francisco Shock are working up towards. A little bit of a standoff, though, going on this right-hand side. No one really too keen to approach main at the moment, knowing how much open space there is.
Yeah, they're just waiting for that blade, like you mentioned, in that Rampage. Look at Proper, a couple of percentage points away. 3% to be precise. Oh, yeah, don't want to accidentally get one shot there. Kalush used that Rampage a little bit earlier than Proper maybe expected. However, with the blade, it's still people pretty low, and that was the chance to go in. A slash and a dash straight on top of Vigilante. A late beat from Opener. He only just got that sound barrier online. And unfortunately, way too late to save the Justice. And the Shock cap with time.
Yeah, Washington Justice ideally, I think, would have liked to get San Francisco Shock down to 0 seconds, but the way that the Shock played those final moments was just exquisitely done. It did look like that Rampage was timed a little early, and I think that Dragon Blade would have been a nice complement to really just kind of follow up onto that damage, but it worked out well because you at least still saw that patience from Proper to wait to make sure that he could assure that he got those picks with the Dragon Blade.
All right, let's see what they want to do on their offense. Our Shock gonna spawn camp? It would be a very Shock thing to do.
Maybe it's still very high risk, high reward though. I do think that Shock are one of those teams that could make a strategy like that really work, but at a certain point it stops working, and so, you know, how much time do you buy off of the clock when you do have a close hold like that? Where are you gonna get set up, Shock? This was just a replay too. Violet and
the 1v1 of the century, the Lucio versus the Blade.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Stops Decay getting a reset. That was really nicely played by Violet, just staying alive, booping the Blade away. Yeah. You have to use the dash because the boot just sends you flying. Really nice play from Violet.
I like that too, because Decay was like, no, you're too slippery, like I can't go after you anymore, and had to just, oh no, Decay?
Yeah. I was going into Hollywood, I'm like, there's no way there's another Widow like spawn peek and a kill, right? And yeah, thanks for proving me wrong, Decay. Appreciate you, buddy. Easy isolation of Finn too. No Lucio, no speed boost, very little protection for the Brig. So they can't take too much damage, and Happy does die. That's not great. And Decay is dead. Okay, the Shock. Doesn't matter if they lose positive supports, they're still going to go in. They got a commanding shout still. Kaluj takes care of Opener, and now you're in the real gulag. A little bit of tiny Overwatch maybe. Yeah, Mag almost got staggered there. I'm not sure you can stagger a Junker Queen, but Shock did it for long enough. Very nice response. Didn't see them coming out on that one alive, but they, yeah, proved me wrong.
Same, but I mean, this is to be expected from a team that is as strategic as the Shock, right? They saw that, okay, we don't have the ability to rotate as quickly as we would like to because we lost the Lucio, but it means we can back up and we can still play a very strong defensive game, and so Washington Justice, they gotta go again, but they are very close to getting that rally online.
Someone helps, okay. Oh, Happy, please. He's very low. Oh, hello. Hello, Proper. You're 1 HP. He is not dying, though, somehow. How is he still alive? How is he still alive? Okay, there you go. Flick of the wrist. 45-degree shot there from Proper. Now the Justice in a good spot. Happy on the height, or was going to go on height, and the Shock have had to retreat to that mega health pack in the lower. They have only the Junker Queen and both supports down there, so it seems pretty easy for the Justice just to rush them down. That slowing field just doing so much work. Yeah, you got the Lucio speed boost, but the AoE from the Disruptor shot not only does damage, but slows people, stops them from running away. Decay does die, but the Justice have 2 ticks and building.
Yep, they're definitely going to capture this, get the payload unlocked and ready to rumble, and of course they still have the rally. Like, that's very impressive. They were able to win that fight, and then they didn't have to expend such a valuable resource. You know, especially when they did have it online, they won without needing to use it, so that feels pretty good. Especially when you know that Proper and Kilo have been putting in enough damage to have their ultimates online as well. Finn still doesn't have the rally. Like that, I mean, I think it's gonna come online with plenty of time if Shock need it, but let's see how proactive Washington Justice can get here.
Yeah, they can definitely stall out this fight if they need to build that rally up with the beat or with the commanding shout. Letting Justice push the payload for the time being for a more opportune offense. Surprise Kilo jumped down to the low ground there, but well, maybe using the bomb and the payload is going to be good enough. Decay still hunting for a target as the rally gets sent out by Vigilante, but Proper cleans house on that one. Vigilante using the rally going aggressive? I mean, the overhealth throws doesn't build up over time. It's not like an instant thing. Vigilante maybe getting a little bit too frisky there.
Oh, Proper as well, actually. That was a pretty big takedown there coming in from Happy, and now you have to see the San Francisco Shock retreat as the Washington Justice come blazing back out of spawn. I'm expecting so many more ultimates to come out here, though, as we are rounding this corner.
All right, Blade available for Decay. He's been screaming it for long enough now. The Blade has been pulled, a beat in the room, hits 4. The San Francisco Shock still in a good space to take out the Justice, but double support ultimate's gonna have to see them through the fight. That Blade from Proper's nice, but he can't quite find anybody. In fact, it doesn't matter, because the rest of his team just killed everybody instead. There you go, San Francisco Shock, utilizing both support ults. I mean, that's just the disadvantage there of just not having the rally to follow up after that beat. If you are the Justice, just a snowball of support ults for the Shock. Put them in good stead to defend second.
when you have the commanding shout as well, just to be able to layer on 3 different layers of protection, it's definitely difficult to get through if you aren't able to match that. But Washington Justice still have a tool. They have 2 minutes left, and so they can definitely make this work. It's just all about how many members can MAG get in this rampage, and what's the follow-up look like for Washington Justice to start outpacing the Shock a little bit more when it comes to those DPS ultimates.
And they are, yeah, the Justice is trying. They're going high ground, then they're going low ground, then they go through the bar. Like,
now they're behind that team.
Yeah, they just need a point of ingress, but they just can't really find it. Okay, they've got the payload moving again. They have the rampage. Feels like they're just trying to bait the Shock into them so they can use a rampage and get it onto the back line. Mag gets pulled in with that knife. There's the rampage, comes out, hits 4. That's good. Target priority right now is Kilo and Proper. They take him down with ease. A perfectly timed rampage from Mag. Maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe I called it correctly there. Just baiting the San Francisco Shock down to low ground to set up for that rampage. And look at this forward push. I mean, yeah, there's no hope for you, unfortunately, Proper and Kilo. Straight back to the spawn, which
yeah, you take advantage of this. And now that the San Francisco Shock have been staggered a little bit too, like it just does bide some time for those doors to open. Happy, just making sure that that payload is moving. But you can see San Francisco Shock continuing to try to make this high ground work for them. And so, yeah, just kind of bullies them off.
Oh, rally in that small room feels pretty good. That Flail doing a ton of damage. Oh, yes. Nice rotation from the Justice. Up onto the high ground, use the rally in the room. Nothing really Shock can do. They had no support ult. So they're rounding this last corner. They still got the Justice still have to deal with the Bob coming up, with the Blade, with the Beat. So they're in a good position.
They are, but you do have a Lucio on the other side, so you might be able to just kite away from that Bob damage and still take a fight. Especially if maybe you like poke your head out, let the Bob fly, and then just be patient, back up a little bit.
Oh, Kilo in a lot of trouble. He's pretty low, sends out Bob for a little bit of cover. Bob's in a perfect position, just holding down the car. That was an amazing Bob from Kilo. Takes care of opener. Look at him, just chilling out.
Okay, you can't get away from that one.
No, you can't.
That's all right. Oh my gosh, Washington Justice might not be able to get away from this either. San Francisco Shock will back up here, but there's still 1 minute and 20 seconds. And the fact that San Francisco Shock finished with less than a minute remaining, if Washington Justice complete these 3 points, they're looking good for another attempt.
All right, Beats count on the Blade. Shock still have a Blade of their own. There's the overclock. Happy hunting for heads. Not going to find too many and might have his rolling on the floor if he's not careful. Violet takes a headshot. Does end up going down through that over health. Decay with a good kill onto Finn. Now he's trying to match Proper, but Proper had the dash and Decay did not. Proper sheathes his blade, but has only a few seconds really to turn this fight. Proper falls, Kaluge dies, and with 40 seconds to go, the Shock might still have a say in this fight. The Rise coming out. Decay's pretty low. They're in fact just trying to focus him down as much as they possibly can. They do manage to pick him off. Kilo comes back, and the rest of the San Francisco Shock going to be able to rejoin the team. Kilo finds yet another kill. Mag may have killed Finn, but with Kaluge and Proper coming back on faster heroes, it's up to the Justice to go for a quick reset and go again.
It's going to be a really tough one, though, because Mag just went down, so now that is another respawn. That's horrible for the Justice. They're going to have to wait for that to come online, but they can't. Decay has to be the person to go touch.
Okay, he does get there, Rose, but he's now on fire and has to back up. Both supports are coming in for the Justice. Vigilante pops that rally over health building for Happy and Vigilante and Opener in the front line. But Bob's coming out from Kilo again, and it's going to be hard to actually get to his position. He's sitting all the way in the background. There's the Rampage. It hits 4 people, and Mag has just sealed the deal. The Justice cap the points. No seconds to spare, so they do gain that minute. But that looked an incredible tough fight to win, but it was all on Mag's shoulders and he pulled through.
Okay, maybe it worked out that Mag got there a little late to the party. All the attention was focused on the rest of the Washington Justice members, and then Mag goes in with a giant rampage. That was so many people. Mag has had some really good consistency when it's come down to how many players he's been able to get in these rampages, and it's been just, it's been huge.
Yeah, Max Junk Queen's not looking half bad right now. It's been interesting over the last couple of days to see the different tank players picking up Junker Queen, how they like interact with their comp, how they interact with the enemy team's comp, and how much effectiveness they get with that Rampage. We've seen a couple of whiff ones today. We don't see too many misses. The Rampage, like the cone of damage, or like the AoE cone, it is pretty big. But to hit consistently that many people like Mag's been doing in the last couple of fights in that last round, yeah, it's a tough thing to do. And yeah, he carried second, really hit that 5-man, and then he hit a 4-man at the very end. Yeah, Mag's Junker Queen looking pretty clean.
Yeah, I mean, you prevent healing, and then you also get a chance to wound, which with the adrenaline passive heals you too. Like, yeah, if you're getting insane value, you're unstoppable as a Junker Queen, and that can make a huge difference. And you can see that for the Justice. But they got one attempt here, really, Jaws. So let's see how much they can make out of it.
Yeah, these comps are very stally, so yeah, you aren't wrong. One attempt, and that's basically it. Just poking down the shield and isolating Finn, which is probably going to be the name of the game, but going a little bit too deep. Disruptor doing a ton of damage, and now Violet is in the sights of Happy. A perfect Disruptor shot with the dash resets from Decay is going to see them good in this fight. Finn, not so isolated, is actually one of the last ones to go down. The San Francisco Shock, they're going to lose at this point, but they can fight super close. This comp is very good at, you know, fighting to the spawn door, funnily enough, right? So
yep.
I can imagine Shock are probably going to do the same, or at least hold on this high ground and then jump onto Justice as soon as they're beneath them.
Definitely going to take a quick fight here, but you've got to be very careful because Justice do have the rally and the sound barrier coming up. And if they're able to just use those and set the pace of these fights, this could be a huge snowball push for them to be able to make it through the second point.
Yeah, it's a lot of big neutral fighting right now, and whoa, Kalush goes down super early. What happened there? That was target focus and then some. Jeez. And now, well, the Justice throws, like you perfectly put it, right? That snowball, if Vigilante or Opener just use one of their support ults and then they use one for the next fight, or it delayed into the next fight, like, they're going to be in a good spot to take this next point. They do have high ground, and in fact, they're going to go fairly early. Jumping down with that rally. Proper's already dead. Now Kalush is getting chased down. A blade for Decay as he finds 3 kills. Gets the reset. Violet scoots himself and Finn away from Decay. And yeah, they did use the beat. So now they got the overclock and the beat for this next push.
But at least San Francisco Shock, they do have some resources to come in with. Finn is very close to that rally. And Kilo has the bomb now to just put some extra point presence.
They didn't get the cap. Wow, they don't get the cap. Proper actually dashed onto the payload just in time, but Violet and Kilo already dead. Mag and Decay just went to the backline as Proper had to go for the touch. The Justice end up capping point B in OT, and they're pushing on to third. I mean, look, the Shock have 5 ults coming up, but with only a minute to go and on Hollywood, this is an impressive push from the Justice.
Yeah, this is a huge hero push that we're seeing right now from the Justice. They could even just continue. They could finish this. If Happy pops off and we see Happy do happy things, this overclock could be massive and just completely shut down the value from the Shock.
There's Bob or Opener. Yeah, Bob's got high ground. Bob's got high ground. And Proper has the blade. 5 ultimates versus none. The Justice are halted before that final corner. But they still get 2 points and then some on the board with only a minute to go. That is a heck of something for Shock to match here. They got a minute and 52. Very doable. But the Justice had a very good snowball with their support ultimates and then playing extremely aggressively, knowing that the Shock hadn't earned support or like just any ultimates of their own because they've been losing some of those fights.
I mean, how impressive is it that Washington Justice needed the Shock to use a full slate of ultimates to stop the payload? And they got 5 points so far, halfway through third? This is looking like a tough ask here for the Shock. I mean, we see this sometimes when these teams that have smaller time banks, they go first, they end up doing these massive pushes, and sometimes the other team that has more time just can't do it. But look at the deflect. Like, Decay is just using these buildings to so much prowess. Wow, the move here is insane.
Yeah, that was a 1v2, 100%. Proper Ankylo going down to just Decay. And that's what you need, those hero plays. And that's what we expected from Happy and Decay in this meta, or at least what I kind of expected. Their hero pool does fit with the meta right now, almost perfect. Happy goes for the, or Kilo goes for the quick shot, ends up missing. Switch over to the Sojourn, so it's an even match once again.
Yeah, but this is kind of one of the first times we've actually seen the Sojourn here come out from the Shock. It's usually been the Ashe.
Ooh, Violet in trouble, pretty low. There's Mag with the axe, cleaving Mag in twain. They're going to chase them all the way to that mega health pack. And now the Shock in a bit of a similar situation to what Justice were in not a couple of minutes ago, with only a minute to go to attack this first point. Happy did die, but he'll go back to the point rather quick.
Yeah, that'll be a really easy one, especially with the movement from the Sojourn. You're definitely getting back in time, but that one fight being a whiff there for the Shock means that they have a minute remaining, and this might be the last attempt.
Very big aggro. Oh, that was an amazing counter bash by Finn, putting Vigilante on his butt, and he ends up getting killed off by Kaluge. All right, this is the push that they were after. Nice early aggression again from the Justice, but the Shock saw it coming this time around. No surprises here. The Shock are getting that point capped.
Are you sure about that? I feel like we might see a recontest here from Justice. Actually, we did just see Opener go down there on the Lucio, so you don't have the ability to kind of rotate around. But this does mean with less than 30 seconds remaining, Washington Justice can wait for these doors to open and then just pounce once the Shock start to make their entrance through this second point.
Yeah, they can make it the very last fight too. It's all about burning that time back down. They only got 10 seconds. That car's going to barely make it through the door. The Shock looking to play perfectly in order to beat out the Justice here on Hollywood. You got a Blade versus a Blade, a Shock versus Justice. Proper's going to pull his first, targeting Mag. Now does Decay pull his? Doesn't look like he wants to. Finn does end up falling. Maybe a turnaround is possible as Vigilante has earned the rally. It's all about just target focus. You've got to kill the DPS. Violet's going to go down and Vigilante says, no, it is go time. We're not waiting for another fight. We're going to go now. Opener's now earned the beat too. Kilo and Violet are dead. Shock need to get back to the point. Violet's got beat. Maybe, just maybe he gets back in time. But now with Happy with the overclock, they're going to hold Shock at the doors. Finn falls and the Justice now on match point.
That was such a huge boop at the end there coming in from Opener. Oh my gosh, like you saw Proper pull the Blade and then all of a sudden there was no targets in sight. You didn't even have a dash reset in your LOS to be able to make it back to the team fight. And then all of a sudden, yeah, Justice see that opportunity to use the rally and just close out the fight. Wow, Washington Justice, can they do it? We've seen this before, Jaws, but can they actually close it out?
It's been an emotional couple of days. And emotions are still running high. Justice looking to maybe 3-0 the San Francisco Shock. Will we see another reverse sweep? We'll have to wait and see after this break.
strike twice has never met the San Francisco Shock. Just the depth of talent on their roster that can't be denied.
Some of the most hardcore carry performances that I've ever seen.
This is going to be a wild ride.
Somehow Violet's going to come to the rescue, get a double kill. Kalu says, how about that one, Chief? See you later.
Dude, his aim is so crispy.
Man, does it miss those? Holy cow!
Sam straights the backline, insta-killing. Oh, Mikey!
San Francisco, the greatest team in Overwatch.
It's time to celebrate summer. Share your art celebrating the Overwatch League and the summer vibes that we're currently having. It's very hot here in California, I will say. AC on permanently. On the fan art gallery for a chance to be featured on broadcast. Hope everybody else is getting their vitamin D every now and then. It's always good to step outside, take a little break, and yeah, maybe draw outside too. Could do that. Bit of paper and a bit of pen. I say that like I'm an artist. I'm not. I'm really not.
You're not?
But no. But we have some fantastic artists in the community. That is for sure.
We do.
So yeah, make sure you submit those at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. Right, back to the game. Washington Justice, San Francisco Shock. Look, I don't think many people expected us to be here. Shock lost control. Haha, yep, great. But the Justice with a phenomenal game on Hollywood. Like, I was just looking at what Johnny was saying, you know, on timeline, and yeah, he was saying how the Justice is so good at setting up these fights. The pre-engagements are kind of crazy. And worth keeping in mind, Rose, in this meta, it requires a ton of coordination from the backline, setting up speed boosts and like double booping people away. Vigilante and Opener are rookies coming into this season. They're going up against one of the most historied players in the Overwatch League in Violet for the San Francisco Shock. I mean, he has Finn with him too, another superstar rookie player. But Vigilante and Opener, they might not be flashy in the kill feed or anything, but they're doing a whole bunch of work for the Washington Justice as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this is definitely something that is such a nice, like, refreshing look from the Washington Justice. Just seeing that Vigilante and Opener have been so fundamental to making sure that these engagements can be quick and snappy, and also have the setup that Johnny was talking about. Like, you have to give them so much credit, but I think also you've got to look at Mag. Like, that, he's been leading this team so well. It's just been phenomenal. Like, this is a different team. This is the consistency and the standout performances we've wanted from Washington Justice all season.
Maybe this is their meta, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mag's doing really well, like you were saying. His rampages, very, very well timed, always hitting, you know, minimum of 3 people, it feels like. Feels good for the Justice so far. Let's see if Shock can start that reverse sweep in motion. Although, look at this. Justice, yeah, this is El Clasico at this point, I think. Junker Queen and Spawn Doors. Name a better to it. I'll wait.
I don't know about that on Circuit Royale. I don't think that was on my bingo card today, Jaws.
Yeah, I think it was on anybody's, to be fair. Let's be real.
But it's working again.
Yeah, I mean, luckily Shock don't have far to run, I suppose.
Yeah, just two steps backwards. I think they're okay. They gotta take a second to reset though, collect themselves, take a deep breath. This is foldable. Let's see the Shock exit spawn, please.
Collusion finish so low. The Disruptor shot covering both doorways, so the rest of the shot wanting to like peek out and help the rest of the team is, yeah, it's kind of nasty. You've got to pick one door and then go for it. It looks like they're going to choose the left-hand side one. Fair bit of high ground. It's only a small high ground, but it's sometimes good enough, at least for the Sojourn, to get a lot of work done. Can't let Proper get anything away with anything too crazy, however. But look, straight back in the spawn again. A lot of reflect damage. Okay, now the Shock are opening it up. Happy gets caught out. And the Justice, even though they've lost one, they are nearing ults, but it looks like a small retreat for everybody except the Junker Queen. Goodbye.
Well, now that the Shock have actually exited spawn, I mean, Washington Justice are still taking names here, but the most important...
Well,
I mean, he'll get back. It's fine. Yeah. But The most important part is look how much time Washington Justice have taken off of the clock, and that close hold actually allows them to still have that classic hold by that corner that we see from every team so far, especially when we've looked at the Sigma compositions reigning supreme on this map alone.
All right, double rally. You got to find a headshot to find a kill. There it is. Thank you. Proper. Mag, dead, Blade, pulled, double beat out. Anybody gonna die just yet? Well, Kalush around the corner, swings that axe. And the Justice, they have lost Mag, so a lot less firepower in the front line. And the Shock are gonna push around this corner. Mag should get back to the fight fairly quickly though, Rose, I will say. And they do have that ult coming up. So both Rampages online for this corner.
Yeah, I mean, they're still fighting on this defensive corner.
There's the Blade from Proper. There's the Rampage. Hits 3 on the Justice. Vigilante and Opener. A little bit worse for wear. Same with Violet and Finn. Target priority from Mag and Kalush looking clean. And it's just a bunch of like small 1v1v1 fights. Yeah, Mag caught out. He had, no one could really peek you there, and it was only Opener that could really heal you. Kilo stays alive, does the damage, and the Shock looking like they're gonna cap.
Yep. That should be a first point capture. No one can come back in and touch, even though I guess the Disruptor shot's gonna try. But now I think this is where the going gets tough. I feel like there is a bit of an advantage to the Sojourn that's going to have the high ground here on this particular section of the map. And the way that Happy has been playing, that really could be a big boon to the Washington Justice's defense.
There's the overclock. Happy on the, so not Happy on the height. Kilo on the height this time. Oh, Proper gets a nice little double reset kill, and turret mode for Kilo.
Okay, never mind. Kilo said, screw that. I'm gonna go take the high ground and take the advantage away. That's fine. Totally okay. Let's go again now, shall we, as we look at what's going to be on the board. And it's really nothing right now except for the sound barrier that Violet is working up to. That could just be enough sustain that the Shock need to very comfortably capture this second point.
Yep, commanding shout to push them forward. There's the B. Justice do not have support ultimates right now, so they're surviving just with flesh and bone. Yep. And even that's not enough, apparently. Yeah, if you have support ult advantage there, you just kind of steamroll. There's just no way you can come back. Unfortunately, Opener and Vigilante not building up those support ultimates as quick as they like, because they lost the previous fight. Now the point B has been unlocked, and what was quite a nice spawn camp. Shock actually pretty quick through point A and point B.
Yeah, they're making up for quite a bit of lost time there. And now the Washington Justice, though, they did take an eco push, and so they're working up to ultimates of their own. And they're going to have one ult advantage over the San Francisco Shock looking at this next engage. But they could still just win an all-out brawl here as the Shock.
Proper trying to set up for something. Maybe going in against this run. There's the Blade. Got to force that beat. Opener's 5% away. I don't know if he knows it. There's still so much AoE with the Dragon Blade. That overhealth, yeah, it builds up, but it's not instant health like the beat is. So, yeah, Proper able to just cleave everybody down. That's the, I guess, the big benefit of the Blade in these kind of comps, because everybody's so grouped up. If you don't end up just getting rolled or someone beats right in front of you, it's a lot of damage, like sustained damage from the Dragon Blade through a couple of people. Enough to help Happy or Kilo, whoever's playing the Sojourn, to pick someone off.
Yeah, and now Justice as well, like they just used the rally. They've got 4 ults to use here, Jaws, to just shut down the Shock.
Yeah, double DPS ult, Rampage coming up, they got the B. They're Happy just playing all the way at the back here. I mean, you're just, again, just putting yourself in a position where you just waste the time of the Shock. The Shock making their way up onto height. The Justice are going to match them.
They have to. They can't let San Francisco Shock take that advantage away from them. But you will see them start to kind of posture themselves to get back to the point very quickly. Hope Justice don't fall for it.
Oh, wow. Happy goes down super early. Kilo wasn't even ulting. Happy was, but he ended up winning the duel. Still Shock playing a little back, even though they have one pick. No support ultimates coming up. Rampage at 5%. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Not sure. Rampage comes out from Mag. Hits 3 again. Huge cleave coming out from Kalush. And now it's up to Kilo to try and finish this fight. A double kill, and the payload is moving. But the Justice look back. And with Kalush out of this engagement, There's no way Hilo can survive on his lonesome on the point. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go now for the Shock.
And this time bank is going to expire pretty quickly as well. You know that the Justice have the spawn advantage, and as the attacking team on this final stretch of the map, it can be very difficult to set yourself up to actually find an opening. So Shock are going to have to posture a little bit before they're able to make this move in. And they're going to wait for this rally and this sound barrier to be available for them to go.
Well, you called it. There it is. Sound barrier available for Violet. Another push here for Kalush. He's got the Rampage. Mag's going to have to be careful. Blade for Decay. There's the beat. He's not going down. He's going fishing. Comes up. Hook, line, and sinker onto Proper and Violet. 40 seconds to go. The Shock used the beat. They got the rally in that fight. Weren't able to use it, but they're going to contend with Justice's rally. It's all about trading their support ultimates right now, and both teams neck and neck. Oh my god, okay, Justice going for the spawn camp, trying to make this extreme last fight. The Justice, remember, if they hold them here, the Shock are going to have to send someone to touch. Kilo's already dead. There's 20 seconds to go with the rally still going off for the Justice. They're trying to pin Violet in. He manages to get back to the spawn in time with help with the commanding shout, but the Shock's still not at 5. Eventually, Kilo respawns and Proper has the blade to maybe open this one up, but someone still needs to touch. The payload might be moving back, but Proper might be the one to do it. He does kill off Opener. Vigilante dies too, and he makes it to the payload in time. The forward hold from the Justice doesn't end up working out, and in fact, it's Proper that comes up large. Both supports dead, and he touches the point, and they manage to get the cap.
That was almost genius from the Justice. It worked for one team fight. They got their rally out of the Shock. They did have to respond with their own, but it's also such a high-risk, high-reward strategy, and unfortunately, it was just too risky. That Dragon Blade did allow for the movement that Proper needed to be able to get back to the point, and because of how swiftly the Justice fell, they also just didn't get a chance to respawn in time to be able to get that contest. So fantastic that the Shock were able to make it through, get that third and final point, and now Justice on the flip side, they have no choice but to get all three themselves.
Yeah, no choice or say in the matter. That was a nasty bit of play. I really like the forward holds when a team is in that situation. 30 seconds, 40 seconds, or whatever to go, because you do force someone to go and touch. But Proper does Proper things. He's pretty good at the video game, funnily enough, and killed both supports with the blade and then dashed straight to the point. But Justice had a fairly good defense. Remember how much time they entered into point 3.
Yeah, they had a lot of time left, and you know, unfortunately, they did have a lot of that expire because of how difficult it can be as the attacking team to just be able to get in there, but they still did a good job. They did cap all 3 points, and now we're gonna see that close hold here from the Shock as well. How is it going to fare? Oh, Justice are already out of the door!
Oh, okay, they just run to point. Oh, well.
Okay.
Didn't expect that, did you? Swap sides. I've got 100 energy. Searching for somebody. Tries to get the flick on Proper, didn't end up working out. Still, they managed to find a kill onto Mag. Now, the question is, how does Justice really respond to this? Because they know the San Francisco Shock are just going to rush at them. Oh, yeah, Violet. A little bit too far up. Partial Junker Queen. Opener dies. Good trade, to be fair. Kilo's still killing, somehow. But it's how the Justice end up responding to that, and that was kind of perfect from Happy, just killing a couple of people, but they either had the option of going back to the spawn or just going for an all-out brawl, and they chose brawl and ended up coming up big. San Francisco Shock still waiting for Kalush to come back as the Justice forced them all the way around the corner.
Mag is creating a ton of space, though. Look at how far back he's really been able to push the Shock. He does go for a health pack just really quickly, just to make sure that he's not expending too many resources here from the support line. But Vigilante is so close to that rally, and once that comes online, expect a very swift push here from the Justice. Except Opener goes down.
Wow. Okay, Opener dead. Actually, Justice are going to try and win this fight. They end up using the rally. Can they find anything off of this? Late rally for the Shock. Later support ultimate, the better. There you go, they just run him over. I wonder what happened to Opener there. Proper just killed him with a regular shuriken. I'm curious how that actually ended up going down, that small interaction. Wow, they didn't even need to look at that kill, and he still killed Opener. Feels good, man.
I don't agree with the use of the rally there. Knowing that they were down the Lucio already and didn't have the same mobility as what the Shock had with 5 players still remaining, I would have loved to see the Justice hold on to that valuable resource to be able to move into this next one. You're really putting a lot of pressure now on Decay and Happy to make sure that they are going to find value from their own ultimates when also the Shock, they're ready to go.
Oh my god.
Revenge.
There. I don't know what happened. Rob's got the blade there, that's what I do know. Nice double kill. Give him a third. He's 2 HP. Oh, gets tagged by Decay. Still San Francisco Shock. They hold on to that beat, which is the most important thing. Oh my god. I like switching to someone as they instantly die and we just see a corpse just fly onto the floor. It's like, how the hell did that happen?
Physics.
Yeah.
Like physics.
The ragdolls I will say the ragdolls in Overwatch 2, a bit crazier than they are in a
They're very
Overwatch 1.
funny.
The amount of like breakdancing hogs I saw in the beta was insane. All right, there's 2 overclocks and Kilo has got the better of. Mag chopping him in half. Summoner's barbecue later on. Huge rampage from Kaluge. Use that commanding shout, hit the rampage in the back. Happy Decay, Vigilante, anti-naded. And with 60 seconds to go, hey, the Shock aren't out of this just yet.
No, this is a map that they're so good on as well. Kaluge, you know, playing the Sigma for these compositions and just knowing every kind of in and out of this map really, I think, is paying a difference here. Especially when Shock are they're playing together as a team around this corner and Justice just really can't break through this stronghold. They still have one more attempt though, Jaws, and they've got a whole lot of ultimates behind them to do it.
Yeah, Mag's got his own rampage now. He was extremely good on Hollywood to see if he can find the same success around this last corner. I mean, theoretically, everybody's lined up, so it could be fairly easy. He's looking for the backline, spots him out, hits the rampage, hits 3 of them. Finn, Violet, and Kaluge in a whole lot of trouble. The beat to help win the fight. I mean, if you've got to invest it, you've got to invest it. It's Justice with the cap. Perfect stuff. I mean, you said it yourself, Rose. They have the ult advantage. It's pretty easy from there.
Daggers too. Look how far back they're pushing the Shock. And with the fact that they've got Happy on the cart moving it forward, this is buying them so much time to really mitigate that high ground advantage. And so Justice here too, they're starting to rack back up ultimate percentage. They're gonna have the rally. It might even come online secondary to Finn's rally to just give Justice another, there you go.
All right, double rally. Dragon Blade trying to go for Kilo, gets the reset. A lot of damage from Decay. Finds 1 kill, make that a second with the kill onto Proper. And all this meanwhile, the payload has been pushing. Abby's been sitting on it, minding his own business. And then all the way to the spawn doors you go. Oh, if he killed Violet there, that would actually been quite a sick stagger, but he doesn't end up getting it.
No, I mean, Shock should be able to get back out in time, but that payload is getting so close to its destination. Can anybody actually go touch?
Couple of meters, yep. Ooh. Okay, Proper goes for it with the dash. Receives the commanding shout to heal himself back up, or temporary health, I should say. Not quite a big heal. In fact, Finn doesn't hit him with a pack in time, and he ends up going down before he can use that blade. It's only 2 meters to go before the Justice have their chance to attack this 3rd point, and it looks like they're gonna have it. There we go. 5-player kill streak for Happy too.
There you go. Happy really putting together some nice work here. I mean, another overclock. Mag also with another rampage. Justice definitely looks set up for success here, especially if they can force out these ultimates that are already ready to go for the Shock. Gonna see this poolside push as Shock just kind of waiting to see where Justice want to take these fights. Shock playing a bit more reactively here. They have to, so that Justice don't surprise them by getting like a drop down.
Sounded like there was a concert going on out there. There's a concert going on while people are fighting to the death. That's interesting stuff. I mean, well, it takes all sorts, I suppose.
You know, you don't want to listen to some music when you're fighting to the death.
I mean, yeah. You could jam out by the pool. I wouldn't mind that at all, to be honest with you. The pool's pretty shallow though, so maybe just maybe not built for everybody. I prefer a swim rather than just kind of chilling. Whoop-a-daisy.
Wow, look at that. Kilo used the overclock to do nothing. You know, Justice baited that out and then just backed up. And now this cart is almost towards its destination. Oh. Big reset there, though.
After there. Happy just poked his little head around the corner. Whoops-a-daisy. Use the overclock, sure, but he got a kill. Why not? We'll give it to you. Good trade, everybody.
That's okay. Justice are going to come back strong. They've got both
5
support
ults.
ultimates. Yeah, just everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they've got to contend with, of course, the both support ultimates from the Shock. And they're letting them come in here. So, again, setting up for these rampages. Speaking of which, there it is. Early rally from the Justice, so they might be able to survive. A support ultimate laying on top of each other. Every single support ultimate thrown in, so it's target focus central for the Shock. They take care of Happy, but Finn ends up falling. In fact, now just a 3-on-3, but Kalush, Proper, and Kilo are so low, and Decay's got the blade drawn. The payload still moves as there's 38 seconds to go as the Shock trickle out of the spawn. The Justice know that they don't have that spawn advantage, so have to back all the way up. Every ultimate was basically used in that fight, and the San Francisco Shock still holding on.
And this is so rough too, because this is the last chance you're going to get as the Justice, and the fact that you threw everything in the kitchen sink at that last fight and it didn't work. Now you just have to win off of fundamentals here, and you know that the Shock can clutch.
Oh, Happy ended up missing that rail, and Vigilante's already dead. Only opener to heal now. Happy's going to have to go absolutely sicko mode to try and find something in this fight. Kalush holding down the fort in the front line as Decay is the one to touch in OT, but now Mag is down. The San Francisco Shock cleaning up over time. Well, no time for tea anymore. The San Francisco Shock hold the Justice just before that last point. And is the reverse sweep starting now? That's the question on everybody's lips.
Well, it has been something that has happened before. Definitely something that the Washington Justice would really like to not have happen again, but it's entirely possible.
Very much is. All right. We'll be right back after this short break. Are we going to see the second reverse sweep of this tournament thus far? We'll have to wait and see after this. Welcome back after that short break. We're heading into Push as our next game mode, but we thought we'd take a quick look at the healing done this season, entering this week. That doesn't include yesterday or today, but both the Shock supports are on this list. We've got Finn and Violet sitting at 5th and 7th.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Like, I think that, you know, San Francisco Shock, just looking at them as a team as a whole, like, really doesn't surprise me to see Violet and Finn on this list of players, just because of how well they really have been able to just kind of, you know, keep everybody alive, right? Like, there's a reason why the Shock are undefeated right now.
Yeah, every single piece of the puzzle is coming together to create a beautiful image that is the San Francisco Shock right now. Although, saying that, the Justice are still 2 maps up, sitting on match point. The Shock need that complete reverse sweep. We'll see if they can do it on Colosseo, which is our next map. Other couple of names on there that you definitely recognize. Shu at the top, of course. Ultraviolet there as well. So, yeah, a lot of names you'd expect to be at the top billing, but Finn and Violet, very much the backbone of this team. I spoke about it just before this map, the map we just had, the Circuit Royale, about Vigilante and Opener. Rookies coming into the season, like, it's a big shoes to fill and big support players you've got to play up against. Violet, Shu, obviously, for example. It's definitely, if I were in their shoes anyway, I would feel quite intimidated playing against some of the very best that the league has to offer and some of the very best that have been around for so long.
Yeah, definitely daunting, you know, but I think that, like, the fact that the rest of the Shock as well, like, we've got a lot of other rookies that are on the team, so it's not just Vigilante and Opener that really are making a name for themselves. The Shock as a whole just have been doing a phenomenal job this entire season, and, you know, I think a lot of people had questions about the Shock entering into the season, like, whoa, you like switched up so many pieces, but the pieces are falling together, and maybe San Francisco Shock can get this reverse sweep. But Colosseo, this is a funny one, right? Like, I feel like when we take a look at how these push maps play out, in particular this one, like, hero moments.
This one does take the cake.
Yeah.
It's the amount of crazy moments we've had around that
triple
first
collateral.
checkpoint. Yeah, this map has brought in so many good moments. I wonder if it's going to continue to do that in this meta. I can imagine so. Of course, Sojourn's still in the mix, right? So anything could be, as crazy as that triple collateral. I'm still waiting for the quad. Whether that's going to happen is beyond me, but I'm sure when the game gets fully released, it's going to happen.
Someone will.
Maybe not within months, but a proper quad collat is going to happen at some point or another. Maybe not in the Overwatch League, but you never know. I'm still quite hopeful. No changes for either side, looks like. Yeah, Finn not sticking on the Arno, he's going to go Brig. We did only see one team kind of swap things up heroes, and that was London Spitfire, but yeah, I think sticking with the Junker Queen seems the best for this situation, but that could change later down the line.
Yeah, I think just right now, though, knowing that every team really is trying to, you know, get comfortable with this new hero in that Junker Queen, you really do just want to get as much practice as possible in these official matches before you start getting a little fancy when it comes down to changing up the support lineup or even just what you're going to be using overall, like if it is going to be that Reinhardt comp. But with just standstill, you're really waiting for these cooldowns to come online, and even maybe these Junker Queens to get a big axe throw at somebody.
Yeah, pulling someone in with a knife can be quite deadly, especially if you combine that with a Sojourn kind of shooting too. You can combine it. It's a very small window to try and get that kill, but whoop, that's okay. He pooped super far away. Yeah, just a little bit of a neutral right now. Just waiting for a single pick from the... It reminds me of the Hanzo. Well, the time we had Hanzo here, it was just like, just waiting for the Hanzo to get a pick. I think it's pretty much the same thing right now. Kilo and Happy looking to get a right click on somebody. Both playing behind the wall, like... This is potentially the longest standoff we've ever had in the Overwatch League. It's been a minute and a half. Almost 2 minutes.
2 minutes here, actually. Like,
I would... You know what I'd love to know? What's the longest amount of time that has happened in a map where someone has not died? Like, is it about 2 minutes? Like, we're nearing the 2 minute mark and no one has died just yet, right?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even seen any progress of this bot either. which I guess comes with the territory of nobody dying. But you really are waiting, I think, for the Sojourn to just charge up and then get a good shot at somebody. But, like, you know, Decay is the lowest person, getting healed up very quickly with the cookies. It's wow.
Tough. It's tough. Like, look, we've reached 2 minutes and no one has died yet. This is the most pacifist game of Overwatch I've ever seen. But the thing is, Rose, I will point out, both Happy and Kilo have to charge their railguns off of something. Who are they going to charge off? The Jungle Queens aren't peeking. It's tough to get those charge-up shots, so it makes sense why we're just still waiting here.
Ooh,
2
Happy
minutes
gets a little low.
30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wait, no, oh they're crashing?
Wait, they're jostling. Wait a second, Papa dashed in. Here we go, first kill maybe. It's been 2 minutes and 30 seconds and no one's died yet. Nope, they dashed back out again. Reset, everybody. Maybe you could grab a cup of tea before someone ends up going down.
Oh, there
we
goes.
got a kill! Okay, Kilo kills Happy. Nice, railgun landed. That was about 2 minutes and 40 seconds before the first kill came in, and Decay earned himself a blade. He's straight to the back, Kilo's dashed away, and Philo finds the next one. Both the San Francisco Shock have the DPS ultimates online. Decay is dead, and Shock control the bot. That has got to be a record.
I think
it's just got it. It's got
I mean, like, yeah, we looked at the records for like fastest push completions. Let's pull out the books now on the longest time.
The longest time without a kill. Yeah.
This takes the cake. I don't need to do the math on that one. I'm pretty sure.
It's got to be. Okay, Blades, rallies, and a beat. Justice layer their support ultimates. Not great as Finn has got a, Violet has got a bait, which he can lay down right now, yeah. And now Happy has been isolated, same with Mag. Shock off on a steamroll. Open and Vigilante using their support ultimates almost at the same time, just overlayering that overhealth. Yeah, I mean, you're invincible for a few seconds, but Violet with a very late beat ends up taking care of the Justice.
It just expires so quickly when you layer them on top of each other, like right at the same time, and then you don't have any sustain, especially if you are going to use them off kilter like the Shock did.
Rampage hits Opener and Happy, and in fact, Opener just dies to the bleed. Unfortunately, couldn't heal himself up as he was antied. San Francisco Shock, they are extremely mad right now. They went down 2 maps to the Justice, and their wrath is just overwhelming right now. They enter butt scratch mode as the Justice have to go for a full reset. The Shock backing up too.
Well, they have to. I mean, look at Violet just trying so hard to get back out of spawn to meet the rest of the Shock. Justice will be able to take control of the bot for a short while, but we're going to be right back where we started, waiting for somebody to get a pick here. At least Happy has the overclock. Maybe that'll help out the Justice, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, much of a stall game. Doesn't look like it. Nope, they're going to go straight in. Why not? You don't want the same situation again, let's be real. There's the ult from Mag. He's trying to focus down Kaluj. Decay helps him finish him off. All right, the Justice, with only one ultimate used in that fight, not bad whatsoever. End up coming out on top, but 66 meters plus the checkpoint for the San Francisco Shock. That's an extremely good start, and we're at the halfway point now.
It's good, but then you look at the Justice and how they've been able to hold on to these ultimates because of how fast Shock have won their fights. And now Vigilante almost has the rally again, actually outpacing Finn in this case to get that rally online just a little bit faster. Decay and Happy as well, double DPS ultimates for the Justice. Let's see what kind of value they can get.
They know where Decay is. Yeah, there it is. Overclock, making everybody cower for cover, hopefully in the corner, so Decay can follow that up. Oh, nice body shot, then headshot onto Kaluj. Healers were on high ground, couldn't see him go low, couldn't give him a pack, couldn't give him heals. The San Francisco Shock support line struggling to keep everybody alive. Happy taking a duel versus 3 people. The bot is continuing to go, and the Justice have double support ultimate coming up. Blade for Decay, Blade for Proper, but Kilo is already dead. A beat for Opener as Vigilante is holding on to this rally. The Shock end up using their beat and now pop the rally to keep them in. 2 DPS trades as Decay ends up falling. Kilo will be back in just a moment as the spawn is pretty close. Vigilante died mid-rally, and it is the Shock that come out on top. up, stopping the Justice just before that checkpoint.
Oh, that's gotta feel so bad as well for the Justice, because now we are well past the halfway point of this map. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left, and San Francisco Shock still have the lead. And this is getting into that dangerous territory for the Justice, that if they don't win this next fight, they may not have enough time to be able to play with enough team fights to take the lead back.
Opener was Dyson with death there. Luckily, rolled ones to Kilo. Happy not quite so lucky. And Kilo now just trying to protect Proper, who's getting chased down in the back. They're watching Justice quite split at the moment in time. They have to hide from Kilo, of course, but weren't able to isolate one target. Finn and Violet do end up falling over, though, for the Shock. So now no heals, only that commanding shout to keep them sustained in the fight. And in fact, that's all they need, apparently. Kalush pretty low. He needs to tag somebody with the knife to get that small bit of passive healing from the adrenaline rush. But Happy keeping his distance, takes care of Kalush and stops the bot moving. The Shock, they gain that checkpoint back again, so they're forward spawns and even a couple of meters.
Might help them out a little bit. I mean, yeah, we're right back at the neutral here. And you know that both of these Junker Queens are going to be trying to set up for a rampage, but Shock have just a little bit better when they do have that Dragon Blade to follow that up.
Yeah, I mean, this map was almost designed for Junker Queen, I feel like. Just dashing down the mid with the rampage. Proper and Kilo are super low, though. I mean, Kalush is trapped in this corner. I don't think there's a point of him to even use the rally at this point. Proper's going to use that ultimate to finish this fight, or at least hope so. Mag and Decay hit with the rampage from Kalush, and the San Francisco Shock with yet another fight. They stop Justice right in the center, so they might gain a couple of meters.
I think they will here, and this is the dangerous territory I was talking about. That now that Shock have very firm control over this bot, and they're even going to extend their lead. Justice here with a minute 30, they've got to play flawlessly. You can even see that Shock actually just going to go ahead and back up slightly to make sure that they don't lose their lead. That's what they're playing for right now. They don't have to do anything more.
Yeah, they know they can just burn the time down, basically. Oh, reflected disruptor shot. That doesn't feel good if you're happy. I think you wonder what happened there. Beat for the Justice as they march forward. It helped them, but the Shock end up just using that beat a little bit later after that rally. And now another rally for Vigilante. Happy and Vigilante are pretty low as Decay jumps to the back with a blade. He gets poop once, but not twice. Finn dies to the Dragon Blade, and the Justice end up cleaning up. The Shock, though, smartly enough, they end up all dying on this point. So with 45 seconds to go, they just need to win this preceding one, and the map might just be theirs.
Yeah, and with Kilo working up to the overclock as well, there is a good possibility that Shock can just capitalize on that, because we will see Justice at least reach this checkpoint, but oh my gosh, no they won't.
0.11 meters before butt scratch mode. Mag wasn't even in the fight. Opener had to run back to the rest of the run back to spawn to pick up Mag. Meant Vigilante, Decay, and Happy didn't have speed to negotiate around the map and negotiate around the San Francisco Shock. So Shock are once again in the driving seat. 10 seconds to go as overtime approaches, and the Shock know they can just play time here. They can play to their tune.
As long as nobody gets off of the bot now, the onus is on the Justice here.
I mean, there's no ultimates for the Justice. And Kilo and Proper are nearing their ultimates. The Justice try and find an opening, but in fact it's an opening to the back of Decay's skull is what Kilo finds. The blade has been pulled, and just like that, OT ticked down, and the San Francisco Shock are going to bring us to a map number 5.
Oh, reverse sweep is on the table here. Would be absolutely nuts if San Francisco Shock could get a second one. This would be phenomenal for them, but Justice, they do at least still have one more map. They just cannot drop the spaghetti. Oh my gosh, Jaws, I don't know how this is gonna end.
I said emotions were high coming into this series and into this day after yesterday, which was just an insane amount of maps, an insane amount of like ridiculous plays from Junker Queens, reverse sweeps. I mean, we could have another one on our hands already. It's only day number 2 in the Summer Showdown qualifiers, and it's already turned out to be quite a banger. Map number 5, we're going to another control map right after this break. both squads being on a similar stage as they did in the kickoff clash. Same situation. The Shock reverse swept the Justice last time they met in the kickoff clash. Yeah, we're going to map number 5. Can Justice go for this denial? Like the San Francisco Shock, look, they're insane. We know that, right? Proper has been hyped up as a MVP Rookie of the Year candidate already, but the Justice, the way they're playing the Junker Queen meta right now and the way Mag is playing Junker Queen, they've been looking quite unstoppable in the first 2 maps. It's up to them to try and deny the San Francisco Shock. And in fact, Rose, stop them from going perfect in the regular season. The Shock is still coming into today, 12-0 regular season record.
Oh, there's so much that the Washington Justice could spoil here. Denying the reverse sweep. Yeah, taking the first win off of the San Francisco Shock. Like, I know that they're hungry for that, but can the Washington Justice keep their mental strong enough, knowing that they got reverse swept already by this team after having a 2-0 lead? I don't know. It's tough. I think it's very, very tough to be in a situation like that as a player.
Yeah, you just got to keep your head in the game, right?
Yep.
It's just that mentality coming into this final map. It's always winnable. Always, always winnable.
It is.
Right, we're going on to Oasis University as our first round. Same comps, I could imagine. No, I don't think we'll see Ashe here. I think the Sojourn quite strong in the small corridors with the Disruptor shot. Have we seen a few times where the slow has been quite impactful, helping set up even the Rampage at some times. Just making it easy for the Junk Queen to line up and get people in that slow field. Bit of extra damage plus the anti-heal. It's a pretty nasty combo if you can get it down right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do see kind of like the Sojourn and the Ashe interchanged for that 1 DPS slot. And we did, in fact, see the San Francisco Shock play the Ashe on Hollywood. But then that last attack push from them, they switched to the Sojourn and have stuck with it since. So, yeah, we're going to see both teams just kind of stick to the tried and true that they've been running for this match. Same players, same comps. And let's see if Washington Justice can win a second control map for this series.
Yeah, they did end up taking the first one away, so secret source maybe?
Maybe.
Looks like the Justice were a little bit quicker. Commanding, oh, okay, I was going to say, Commanding Shao maybe from Mag? Because the Shock end up using theirs around the corner, use that speed up to run round, but I think before Mag could even get his off, the Shock end up hitting 2 picks and the point.
That's something that the Shock have been really good at, though, is just kind of waiting for, you know, that commanding shout came online at the perfect time, and once that was available, I'm sure Kaluj just said, like, let's go. Let's do this. Like, we have the support. And unfortunately for the Justice, I do feel like when they play on the attack of these control maps, it is a little bit more difficult for them. Like, Shock would rather play on the defense, and Justice would kind of rather do that, too.
Yeah, Kilo wants to sit on the background, that's for sure. All right, wow. They actually forced Shock away from the point, off it completely, and end up getting the cap. However, with Happy dead, there's a whole lot less damage to be had. Yeah, and both DPS now dead. Goodbye. Should be a good cleanup. This is fairly decent from the Justice, though, I will say. Getting a random flip like that, denying, what's that, 15% away from the Shock? Not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but I think the Shock also recognized, too, that you can have point for a little while. We'll just beat you in a team fight and then take it back. It does help out the Justice slightly to know that they have these ultimates coming online, and if they're able to take one more eco push here, that could set them up to make sure that they deny that last fight territory from the Shock. But oh my god, Proper's going first.
Yeah, he's going in. He wants to get in their faces ASAP. Just extend these fights for as long as possible. Ag was the target, and you can see all the focus just lobbed towards him. No matter how many packs you have, there's not enough burst healing in the world to save you from the Blade plus some.
It's too difficult sometimes. There's just so many different resources that you can use to make sure that the Genji is unkillable. But, you know, Shock, they still held on to the rally, which they're going to start with now.
All right, double rally. Overclock for Kilo, trying to find some heads to snipe. Decay's in the back lines. He ends up getting chased away, but an extremely late beak saves Kilo's life for the time. In fact, Vigilante ends up going down. Thought we were frozen time there, but no, we are back. Kilo dead to Decay's blade. He's got a lot of value on it so far, but can Max stay alive? No, he gets focused down by Proper yet again. The San Francisco Shock target priority. We spoke about it at the very start of the map, or the start of the match even, and it's still as good as ever. OT ticks through, no one can touch. Oh, just opener, but he gets meleeed. This Decay to touch next, he gets booped up, but it's just one after the other. Even a rampage to the back. I mean, yeah, it's as good as done. First stage for the Shock taken. They want that reverse sweep, and they want it now.
I think they might get it. If they keep playing the rest of Oasis the way that they just played University, San Francisco Shock may just deny Washington Justice again, winning a series against them. We're going to head over to City Center, and it's all going to come down to whether Washington Justice can take control of this point first. But the way that the Shock are playing, they're playing way more proactively now than what we saw them play in these first two maps of this series. What is Proper doing? I didn't know you could do that.
He's just hanging out.
He looks like a spider.
There's a weird little lip on the top of the door. He does look like a spider.
I have a problem with that. I don't like spiders.
Will Genji ever get a spider skin? That is the question. New Halloween skin, maybe. New skin idea. You can take that one for free, Blizzard, if you wanna use that in the game.
No.
Although, yeah, I guess for people with arachnophobia, it wouldn't be so great.
No thanks.
All right, high ground contest from the Shock, and oh my word, yeah, they're not expecting that one. Unfortunate. Wonder where Hab or Kilo was. It looked like he was on the low ground. And you can shoot from afar there, but it's a little bit. I feel like when you go to the high ground, the disrupt shot does a lot of work, and you saw Happy jump up, use a disrupt shot on the ground, a lot of area denial, and the Justice end up capping.
Yeah, now they're going to play that aggressive game that we've seen them go for in these previous maps as well, but is it going to pay off here? They cannot overextend, or Proper may just be able to get into the back line.
Oh, Fenz ends up going down first yet again. Look at how aggressive Decay is being. A little bit too aggressive, maybe. One reset, two. Proper dashing through them all. Happy so low. Proper with a 3K. Make that a 4, maybe? No, the cards will take that one from him. Proper. Almost ghost dashing through them. San Francisco Shock win that fight. Cap the point.
I warned you. I just want to put that up there. I mean, Proper just sometimes taking these flanks. It didn't work out when we were seeing it happen on Nepal, but I feel like he's finally gotten the timing of it right to make sure that he's in a position to be able to just go after the backline when San Francisco Shock are keeping the rest of the front line of the Justice busy. And so Shock now, they've got the high ground control, they've got a beat, got a lot of tools for success.
Oh. Another brute force. This time, it's Vigilante. Blade from Proper. He gets the kill onto Mag, backs up round the corner, didn't want to get insta-deleted. His work here is done. Finding one kill with a Blade, especially in this meta, feels very good. Something that you should really be aiming for, I suppose. Shock have that beat to rely on for the next fight, and they can stall out long enough for Finn to get a rally. Justice coming up on both support ultimates for themselves. For the Shock in a good spot, 50% and building.
Yeah, this is definitely a good place for the Shock to be in. You can see the Justice are trying to get this point back in their control, but Vigilante and Opener, they cannot layer these right next to each other.
Oh, Scanny's healing. Yeah, he's good. Got the pack just in time. There's the commanding shout. Kilo's in his sights, trying to get a damage down, but a late commanding shout from the San Francisco Shock's going to be good, but not good enough. Proper with the deflect, almost kills Happy with his own railgun, but a nice wicked slide ends up finishing him off. Shock still 74% and a beat to hold on to.
Yeah, but you still have the rally from the Justice as well, and so while they also have other tools to rely on, like the Rampage and the Dragon Blade, Shock, they, you know, as long as they can maybe withstand that, they might be able to get their own overclock online.
Oh, that was a disgusting Rampage.
Gross.
Luckily, Violet had the beat, but now a Rampage from Kalush hits it straight to the back. But look at this damage from Decay. Anti, no problem, still kills 2, all the way up to the spawn for the Justice. They want to get these forward holds. I really like the game that they're playing right now. This is the tempo that they need to set, and they need to keep it theirs.
They can. I mean, this is the position that you think you want to see the Justice in. If they're able to force out the overclock from Kilo, and then they have the speed boost online from Opener to just back them up, then you're fighting in the neutral, and Washington Justice could win that with a huge pop-off from Decay or Happy.
As the overclock, Decay's on the side, a speed boost in from the Washington Justice, and Finn takes a meat shot to the head from Mag. 90% of building for the Justice, proper dead. Vigilante may have fallen, but there's little to no heals from the San Francisco Shock either. Mag in the Gulag, 1v1 deathmatch versus Mag. A little bit unfair though, as the rest of the Justice are around him, helping him finish off that kill. And the Justice take us to round number 3 in map number 5. We're going the full distance.
Oh my gosh. If I had a nickel for every time we went to a 5-map series between Washington Justice and San Francisco Shock, I'd have 2. It's just weird it's happened twice, okay? Like, this is absolutely nuts.
Feels good.
Oh my gosh. Wow, and I mean, you can see both teams hovering over the Symmetra as well. They've both recognized how important it can be sometimes to be able to get to the point first. And especially on a map like Gardens, you want to have the high ground, you want to have that point control, and then you get to kind of spray into the open and get that poke. A little bit of a faster switch though from Kilo, but Happy might make it there first.
Oh, Opener being a little bit cheeky. Got to be careful as the Shock now. You don't want to get booped off the map. It's almost impossible for Kaluj really to go up to the high ground. You're going to have to wait for a double speed up. And in fact, it's Justice who are going to try and lead this dance on the low ground as most of them jump down.
Opener
they find the first cap again. Yeah, no, Kaluj going in, commanding shout in, but Vigilante's already dead. Opener not quite there to boot people away from him, but Mag is cleaning up both Finn, Kilo and Kaluj. Dead at Mag's hands. Cap for Justice. There's the Shock. They didn't get to that point first, or that high ground first, and they end up giving up a lot of ground.
No, I mean, the fact that you just saw Washington Justice do such a fast rollout with the Symmetra. I mean, Shock did it too, but just Justice did it better. Decay also almost has a Dragon Blade after the first fight. This is massive if the Washington Justice can snowball this. Decay has been getting some big blade pop-offs. Can he continue to do so?
He's only 20% away. Finn and Violet are super far away from their support ultimates. Kaluj is caught out. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. Happy does end up going down. Genji's doing work. Proper finds yet another dash reset onto Decay. He's determined to put a Shock on the point, and he's going to do so.
This is not the first time that we've seen Kaluj go down first, but then the Shock able to just clutch it out anyway. And usually when you lose your Junker Queen, it can be a little dicey because you don't have these other cooldowns available to really help you get that damage in and confirm those picks. But now it's Dragon Blade versus Dragon Blade here as the Justice come back to contest.
Now trying to go for a point-blank knife, didn't end up landing, but it's okay. There's the blade, however, the beat from the Justice built up super early on in this fight, but Proper still trying to go for it. Vigilante more than healthy and more than happy to take that 1v1. Rally from Finn, matched by Vigilante. If Violet can stall out the speed long enough, they might be in a good position to win this fight, but Decay is still holding on to that blade. Violet's used the beat, and Kaluj is still pretty low. He didn't receive that overhealth. The Washington Justice in a good spot as Decay holds on to that blade for long enough as the San Francisco Shock use both of their support ultimates in that fight and still end up going down.
Oh my gosh, such good value for the Justice, and now you've taken back control. You're going to outpace the percentage that the Shock have captured, and you still have the Dragon Blade. Mag also with a Rampage, and these Rampages have been huge for this tank player. This could just be, you know, just cycle through. Dragon Blade, if you need it, maybe the Rampage? I don't know.
I think Rampage up. It hits 3. He didn't get booped, but Proper Collusion Violet in trouble. And now the hunt begins. Washington Justice smell the blood in the water as they charge towards Violet and the spawn of the San Francisco Shock. 70% for the Justice, and Decay unrelenting in his pursuit to hold on to the blade. 75%.
But it's perfect.
The Shock are almost in one-fight territory now.
They are.
They're going to go early.
Are.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh. The Dragon Blade could just stop them here. What do the Shock have to answer this?
Decay spots the backline, pulls the blade. Everybody from the Shock a little bit caught unawares. Decay's going pretty low. He needs the help for the rest of his team, but Kilo manages to back off in time and get the body shot in the back. Kilo ends up finding Happy off the back of it. It was a good plan from the Justice, but San Francisco Shock had the perfect response. 99% OT for the Justice as the Shock keep themselves in the series.
Bit of a miscommunication there from the Justice. Decay was ready to go with the Blade, but no follow-up from the Justice to be able to back him up. This has bought some time for the Shock to get ultimates of their own online, and we are in last fight territory. This could be it, Jaws. Justice are rushing back to the point to make sure that they've got maybe a second chance here, as ultimates are getting raced to get online.
8%, they want to just stall this out for as long. Whoa, Violet went to 1 HP. Not sure who had it, potentially happy. They lost Violet there. That would have been maybe the series over. Last fight, that's all they want. Rampage setting up for Kaluj. There's the commanding shout, there's the rally. It hits 4, but the B from Opener is good. Hits every single member of the Justice as the rally from Finn comes out to try and save the rest of the Shock. Proper's not quite so lucky, and now Happy's on the high ground with the overclock. Decay ends up full, so they've lost both Genjis, but now it's up to Happy. He needs to come up big. San Francisco Shock with the beat, and now overtime is here. The Justice need to clutch up, but Kilo's not letting them do it. There's 3 members of the Shock huddling back into the choke point, and now the focus, the target focus from the Shock as they deny Justice. The reverse sweep is the Shock's. History always manages to repeat itself as Shock find the reverse sweep over the Justice.
The clutch factor of the San Francisco Shock really came into play here today. Whether it is proper, sometimes stealing the spotlight, this one falls to Kilo. Jaws, this was such a fun match between these two teams, and I know that it doesn't feel good as the Justice to get their spoiled match once again, but boy, do the Shock come up clutch when it counts.
Like, time and time again, how do they keep getting away with this? They're going to continue their regular season spree. They're 13-0 right now in regular season. The Washington Justice came so close. This is the second time they've gone to a map 5 in a reverse sweep potential, and they have been beaten at the very last second. I mean, the San Francisco Shock, what more do you need to say?
It's just so impressive as well, because when you look statistically across the board, teams that lose somebody first tend to just lose the team fights outright. And despite San Francisco Shock losing somebody in that final fight early, they still managed to clutch it out. That's just speaks volumes not only to the individual prowess of each of the players on the team, but also how well they communicate as a whole to make sure that they are able to shore up some of those weaknesses when they do come through.
Yeah, that is insane. Like, losing someone first and then flipping it around, Shock special, apparently. They're looking good so far. And who's looking the best right now on the Shock? Who's getting player of the match? Well, it's going to be Kilo for this series. Kilo's Sojourn really putting it to Happy. They had a fairly even game up until this the last crucial team fight in the last crucial, like, round 3, map number 5. But Kilo, what feels like a mainstay in this current meta, being able to play both the Sojourn and the Ashe. San Francisco Shock can't get it done without him.
No, I mean, this is definitely like Kilo doing some heavy lifting here for the team, especially in those clutch moments where it counted. I feel like Oasis in that final fight is such a great example of how Kilo can just make these big hero plays that San Francisco Shock are known for. I mean, we looked at the top 10 healers leading up to this point, but if you look at also the top 10 final blows, you'll see Proper in that top 10, but Kilo is not far behind. And look at the performance that this player has been able to put on today. 53% railgun accuracy is still very, very clean for a Sojourn.
Yeah, it feels like you could give it to Proper as well, both Kilo and Proper. In fact, the entire squad of the San Francisco Shock, I think, deserved it in some respect, right? Mm-hmm. What a performance. What a performance. 13-0. I can't believe they have gone this undefeated in the regular season. Like, it is insane. Who will topple them?
Well, it could have been the Washington Justice, okay? We were very, very close, but that is still up for grabs here. And looking at the San Francisco Shock's lineup, maybe it has to be the Gladiators that have to play spoil to it like they did in the Mid-Season Madness tournament.
Maybe, just maybe. We'll have to wait and find out. That is still a story yet written. Right, we're going to jump to a quick break. We got the Vancouver Titans and the Toronto Defiant after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
It's okay. Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I'm here joined now by Kilo from San Francisco Shaw. Kilo, congratulations on the win. And yeah, I mean, this was a crazy match, and I do believe you guys did get the win, but it was a very, very close fight. So, you know, what were some of the problems that the San Francisco Shock had in this series, and how did you guys solve it to get the win today? 자, 일단 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 오늘 경기 굉장히 접전이었죠. 또 제가 봤을 때는 그렇게 쉬운 경기는 아니었다고 봅니다. 키로 선수가 보셨을 때 오늘 좀 경기에서 팀에서 좀 이렇게 어떤 문제가 있었고 좀 그리고 그런 것을 좀 어떻게 하나씩 해결해 나가셨나요?
처음에는 그냥 단순적으로 그냥 하던 대로 했는데 상대팀이 좀 워낙 빠르다 보니까 근데 거기서 저희들이 포커싱 할 거에 합이 좀 잘 안 맞았고 근데 그걸 이제 3세트 가서 잘 풀어갔던 것 같아요.
All right, so at first, beginning of the series, I think we went into the match really thinking about how, we didn't think that much. We wanted to just play how we always used to play, our San Francisco Shock way. But that didn't really work out in the first half of the series, like all of you guys saw, because our enemies they had a very fast tempo. So that really affected our focusing and all of our strategies. But I think it was towards the third map where we sort of figured out their tempo and we sort of countered it, and that's how we got the win. All right, and also my next question for you, Kilo, it's a bit of a fun one. I want to get your thoughts on the meta. Like, what do you think about the current meta that we're in right now? 자, 두 번째 질문은 킬로 선수가 보셨을 때 지금 현 메타에 대한 좀 생각을 듣고 싶습니다. 좀 어떠신 것 같나요, 지금?
이번 메타는 개인적인 생각이지만 이게 빠르면 빠르고 느리면 느렸지 중간이 없는 것 같아요. 템포가 딱 그 느낌.
Okay. So, this is my personal take or my personal thought. I believe that this current meta there's no middle ground. If it's fast, then it's very, very fast, and if it's slow, then it becomes super, super slow. You did say that if it's slow, it's super slow. Is that what we saw on Colosseo when the beginning of Colosseo where we saw you guys just for like 3 minutes didn't do anything? 방금 되게 좀 느릴 땐 느린다고 하셨는데 이제 그게 저희가 오늘 봤던 콜로세오에서 그 3분간 대치 상황을 했던 게 그런 게 좀 이제 좀 느리다 좀 그런 건가요?
이제 그런 것도 포함이고 이제 약간 이제 받아치는 느낌 그걸 말한 거였어.
Alright. Kilo says that yes, of course, that's also a factor, but also he was saying more like how teams have to react to the enemy teams when they come in and when you have to fight them back as well. I guess he was talking about the tempo. Alright, Kilo, that is it for the questions. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on the win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치고요. 오늘 승리 너무 축하드립니다. 감사합니다. 바이바이.
감사합니다. Thank you, guys.
Kilo's the best. He's just so happy. There you have it. The San Francisco Shock, they reverse sweep Washington Justice.
Why? Dude, Johnny's been just giggling the whole
what do you mean?
The past 4 minutes. I don't know what's going on.
I'm a bit delirious. What's going on? How are you guys?
We gotta laugh. Otherwise, we're gonna cry. I was sitting through that entire match like, dude, the Justice. They worked it out.
They look good.
They look good. Mag on that Junker Queen. Oh, it was nice. It was spicy. The Justice, the way that they were moving around the maps, the way that they were taking fights, their tempo, it was all so good. And then it just slowly started to slip away from them, as you just said, Kilo. It felt like they took a more reactive tempo and they were just waiting for the Justice to do something because the Justice was so. I guess they weren't hyper aggressive, but they were always moving to take the fights in the best position. I remember you actually saying this, Johnny, during the match, where you were like, it felt like they understood how to manipulate the Shock where they wanted them to be. And it felt like the Shock sort of started to work that out and started to counter it. But also the Justice just making some weird decisions in some of these fights, and I'll get to the last one when we get there, but it happened on Circle Royale as well when they decided to go touch the spawn on the last fight. It's like, I understand the idea of if you are negating them from getting to the point, getting to the objective, it gives you the advantage because you're once again setting the tempo, but it costs them multiple times, and it really bit them in the butt on that last fight on Oasis. The idea was good. You have that Decay Dragon Blade. They do not have a defensive ult to answer it, but they're just going too fast sometimes. And, Decay went too aggressive, goes to touch the spawn challenge, gets punished for it, and it falls away from them. So I think almost getting a